Hey, peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I'm the man here that keeps it all cooking. Please consider subscribing to the channel. Please, if you dig any of the topics or the way that I'm covering them or discussing them, please hit that like button. It means a whole lot and it takes you like fraction of a second, and it just would be appreciated 3,000%. I wanted to follow back, double back, circle back, whatever, to the Andrew Luck situation with him retiring after 7 years in the NFL. As we've seen some new developments from former NFL players. I don't know if you saw earlier today, but former tight end, or former Patriots tight end, Gronkowski. He retired finally, and there was a video earlier today of him, and the man almost broke down in tears, or broke. He just became so overcame with emotions, and he tensed up, welled up, got all tensed up, and you could see it. But he was saying that he was making not making a speech, but he was speaking somewhere. It looked like he was in front of one of those backdrops for a press conference. And he said, he was in a bad space because of football. Now, I couldn't surmise whether or not he was messed up with football based on pain and where he was physically, or I think Stephen A. Smith might have spoken on it today, just talking about playing under the constraints of Bill Belichick and his culture that he's created in New England. Was Gronkowski not having fun or not allowed to be himself and express himself? And that Stephen A. was saying that Belichick's style might be just a little too businesslike, and that might not work for all athletes. But winning, whatever. Because one thing about it works well for Tom Brady. But anyway, I thought what he was talking about was just all the rehabbing, and being in pain and all the injuries and missing time away and rehabbing. And I think, to me, and I'll say that because of the fact he was at I don't know if it was a treatment center. I don't even think they even really discussed this, the people on ESPN and whatnot. I don't even think they really tried to dig into it. But he had some T-shirt on with a logo that was involved with CBD. And I'm sorry, I don't know what the acronym is for, but it's a lot of this CBD oil right now, and it's a lot of wellness discussions. So CBD is being associated with recovery, healing, wellness, and all of this stuff, and I've been seeing it out here to treat a number of different issues. And so that led me to believe that he was dealing with pain. So when we look at that, and this guy is overcome with emotion at this little press conference or whatever he's speaking at, this kind of reinforces what Andrew Luck is saying. And it doesn't boil down to whether or not, from Doug Gottlieb, it doesn't really boil down to whether or not I feel like because these guys make millions of dollars a year, et cetera, they shouldn't, we can't buy their whole woe is me or these crocodile tears, however you want to look at it. You got to walk in some of these guys' shoes across professional sports, period. Because we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And these men and these athletes, these women, they're doing some phenomenal things. Like the U.S. Open is going on right now. This 15-year-old, I think golf is getting ready to play. 15 years old. Golf just beat Bertie, who's like number one in the world right now. She just beat her in an exhibition the other night. Like, who at 15 years old was getting ready to play the number one-on-one in anything, at 15 in front of a stadium full of 4,000 people? Like, some of this stuff Trevor Lawrence or whatever from Clemson, amazing. A freshman playing how he's playing, leading the team against Alabama, all those NFL prospects. I mean, some of this stuff that these young people are doing is amazing. So Gronkowski, like I said, just looks like he was struggling with the effects of that career in that profession. And the thing is, you got to think as a young kid, you're bigger than everybody, you're stronger than everybody, you're faster than everybody. You have the talent, you love competing, you're enjoying this, you're getting all these accolades and adulation for being what you are. And then as you get to the highest levels of your particular sport, especially in something physical like football, everybody's the same size. These injuries start happening. You're hitting guys the same size as you or bigger, faster. The collisions are bigger and more violent. And now, you're 27, 28, 29 years old and you feel like you're 50 or 60. I see the bus, one of my favorite players, Jerome Bettis in a new commercial. And I heard a couple of years ago, that it takes him, he said, I think it was something that he was on, it takes him a half hour or an hour. Heard the same thing about the old school running back from the Houston Oilers. His name escapes me at the minute. The brother, Earl Campbell. It takes these guys a half hour, an hour just to get out of bed, from all of the punishment. But I see the bus in this video and he's moving, but he looks very, he's very slow. You saw Jerry Rice in the commercial with the Tommy, whatever that stuff is, with the gold and silver, whatever it is, the active wear, stability stuff, or the copper infused compression gear and whatnot. But this takes a toll on people, and like I said, this just kind of reinforced what we heard, the comments out of Andrew Luck. The crowd. Shout out to my man DA, the real deal with Damian Adams. In trying to find a positive way to look at the disappointment and the frustration and the boos from the people at the stadium over there in Indianapolis as Luck was walking off the field. I don't want to say too much. I guess I want to speak for me. I don't want to be anywhere where I join in and be an idiot. You know what I'm saying? For the first person that started booing, the person that was standing next to him, the second person. Like, when it comes to you to decide how you're going to conduct yourself in any given situation, I would have just been looking at my man like, are you serious? And like DA tried to explain, these guys, to tell a franchise this at this stage in the season, you got a team that went to the playoffs last year. You can probably win your division this year, maybe even get home, have a host a playoff game. Some of these people, they are diehards, being there in the fourth quarter at the end of a preseason game, season ticket holder, all of that stuff. Season ticket holders would suggest to me that you have some amount of money and that you have some level of education. But again, at that particular moment, it was a no-win situation, in all honesty. But like I said, man, had I been sitting there and if it was 10 of us, it would only been 9 booing, because I just don't never want to. I don't never want to be somewhere being an idiot. I just don't. And there's a lot of causes out here right now. It's a lot of opportunity to be an idiot on any given subject, or in any given situation. Secondly, another thing that came out in support of what we heard out of Andrew Luck's retirement comments. Did you see this brother LaRon McClain, who used to play for the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs? He's a 34-year-old former player, had a career high rushing the ball, had to move over to running back one year and ran for 900, little over 900 yards. I want to say 902, 903 or something, or maybe it was 932. But had a career year running the ball. That had to be, exciting for him to move over from fullback and actually tote the mail. But he was on Twitter over the weekend pleading for help. He's saying that something is wrong with his brain. He used a lot of F-bombs. He's asking the NFL to help him out. I guess there's some issues with him getting to a doctor. There's something that came out of this lawsuit with the $1 billion or whatever it is that the NFL set aside to deal with these cases and the head trauma and former players with medical issues. And yeah, this money has been handed out and doled out to different individuals, but it's different stipulations, or you got to find a doctor. The doctor has to be within 150 miles or something. It's some stuff in there that the lawyers have written into that that lawsuit that class action lawsuit being settled. And for whatever reason or another, McClain has been unable to get his situation addressed and hasn't been able to go and get evaluated and to get help. And so he took to Twitter in a series of tweets and just explained that he's effing hurting. His brain isn't right. He isn't right. And he doesn't have he said it's a bunch of, he alluded to the fact it's a bunch of documentation you have to fill out. He's like, F all that. I just need to get help right now. Now, where is it? Does he have a wife? Does he have a child? Older teenage child, family? Where's all the dudes who was? He came out of the University of Alabama. Some teammates, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed. Like, again, somebody should have been in touch with him by now to help him out. 4 days, 3 days later. Somebody should have reached out. That's what I'm saying. Get off of social media. I just took social media off my phone. Get off of social media and interact with other human beings. Help this brother out. Help him fill out the documentation. Is there a shortcut around all of that? Is there a way to circumvent, the red tape and the bureaucracy of it? But it was like I said, 5 tweets. They're out there. If you Google it, you can find the situation. But that's basically what he was saying, is that my brain is effed up. I need help. My head is bad. Then he did come back, I believe, on Sunday night and say that, he admitted, or not admitted, but he shared, it was just a rough patch that he hit with how he feels physically. And he said he had to vent and he had to, he was just calling out for help. And kind of, calmed everything down a little bit. But like I said, some of these notable figures from that organization, an organization that was, the Ravens aren't even my team, but that's a team that I've always considered tight-knit, family. It's some remarkable leaders that have been involved with the Ravens throughout the years. That man shouldn't have went through. By the second tweet, if we really this is why I'm off of there, because I realize nobody cares what you're talking about. But if some people that love that man sat there and didn't get in touch with him, and the next 3 to 5 tweets came out with him putting all his business out there without the NFL reacting, somebody should be contacting that man and seeing if this is a situation where Dave Dorson, I think was his first name, Junior Seau. These are guys that fatally harmed themselves and left specific instruction that their brain, they killed themselves with a gunshot to the body to preserve their brain, and asked that their brain be examined, posthumously to see what was going on. In this situation right here, is this an opportunity, or is this a situation where a guy could harm himself the same way? And that's unfortunate. I see that McClain does have one child, Alexandria McClain. He played for the Chargers, Kansas City, and Baltimore. So it doesn't get any worse than that. You know, somebody like I said, and like I said, nothing more reinforces. And what I said in the Andrew Luck video, I think every player that's involved with the NFL should have your entry plan, grand opening, grand closing. Like as soon as you get drafted, the plan to exit should be started. You know, you walk across that stage and shake Goodell's hand. Somebody on the team and on the individual player's team, his family, agent, whatever, somebody needs to be working on the exit plan. It's that deadly of a game. Now, and like I said, we all see the straight hands. We all see, Kevin Hardy, I think is his name, that's in MMA now, participating in that or competing in that. We see some of these different individuals going out and doing all the guys in the studio shows. Randy Moss, we see Chris Carter. We see all of these guys doing, still functional, engaged in the next career. But like I said, it seems like it's a number of guys out here that it's not as smooth sailing for them post football, and you need to have an exit plan. And that comes down to the individual himself. And that's that. So like I said, those two situations, man, Gronkowski here with LaRon McClain, and Luck. And you can look at all the other guys who have retired. It's been a couple of guys here in the last couple of years with Willis from the 49ers. It's been a couple of linemen, I think. Joe Thomas, I think, walked away from the game a little, maybe a season or two early. You know, it's something. You know. So anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I just wanted to check. I wanted people to know about that, like the Gronkowski situation, this LaRon McClain situation. Before we judge these athletes and speak on these men and women and write all of this stuff off, and we become so cold-hearted because all we want is our entertainment, all we want is our fantasy stats and whatnot, and to win the money that we can win. You know, these are real people. These are human beings, and we need to keep it in mind. I mean, enjoy the game, enjoy the physicality, enjoy the violence, the carnage, enjoy all of that. You know, the adrenaline, the competition, the fight, the fire, the dog. Enjoy all of that. But up until they put the equipment on, and they enter that ring, they enter that cage, and when they get out of it, bring the humanity back towards these individuals. And let me get on out of here, man. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. Messing up my own thing that I stole from somebody else. Have a great day.